The following program was paid for by Real Estate Radio Network. The hosts are not an employee of WMTR or its parent company, Greater Media. The views and opinions expressed on the Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio New Jersey are not necessarily those of the staff and management of WMTR. Station management has not investigated the claims made in financial service spots that may air during this program. As always, it is advisable to consult a professional before making a major financial decision. You're listening to The Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio New Jersey on 1250 AM WMTR. Now, your hosts, local credit experts Damon DiCrescenzo and attorney Jason Kaplan.
Good morning, New Jersey. It's time for The Credit Pros on the Real Estate Radio Network, 1250 AM. It doesn't seem like it's been 7 days since last time we were together, but alas it is. Damon, say hello.
Hello, Jason, and thank you guys for joining us on another important week of Real Estate Radio, and this is The Credit Pros. For those of you who don't know, The Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio, we give you important, sound advice on credit, real estate, and finance topics, because in this market in New York and New Jersey, there are problems, there are opportunities, and there's a lot of potential of money to be made, and we wanted to make sure that you have the information that you need. So thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. And we have a special guest today. You know, being an attorney, everywhere I go, whether it's getting my car washed or getting my shoes shined or going to the grocery store, if someone finds out that I'm an attorney, they have a question because they have a aunt that fell down in the grocery store, or they have some kind of legal trouble.
Speeding tickets,
exactly. That's a big one. So we brought in a very special guest today. Rocco's here from Prepaid Legal Services. Do you have his contact information, Damon?
Yeah, Prepaid Legal. For those of you who don't know, you're about to find out some awesome information. But Rocco Cilio, he's going to go through all of the important details of Prepaid Legal. Thanks for joining us today, Rocco. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot for having me.
So it's interesting about Prepaid Legal, and it's a company that's been around for a long time, I know. Before we dive into any other stuff, give me a little bit of background on the organization itself.
All right. Well, like you mentioned, they've been around for about 40 years now. The company was actually founded by a gentleman that was driving home from an appointment one night. Some lady crossed a double yellow line, hit him head on, and even though it wasn't his fault, she wound up suing him. So he had auto insurance to cover the damage to the vehicle, health insurance to cover his doctor bills, but he had to pay to defend himself to prove his innocence. Hence, he came up with the concept, why don't we have a form of legal insurance?
So I want you to stay tuned this hour. You're going to find out more information about Prepaid Legal. If you have any questions for us while we're on the air or off air, write down our phone number. Give us a call. We're happy to talk to you. Call the Credit Pros at 973-771-5118. Again, our number, 973-771-5118, or always available on the web at creditrepair.to. Also today we're going to be knocking around something that I find funny. 7 of the most cringe-worthy credit moments. You think you know what they are? I guarantee you don't. Also, later in the show, we're going to be talking about some credit true or false, and we have a list of the top 25 cities with the most credit card debt. Where do you think your city lands? There are some big surprises on here, so I'm going to want you to stay tuned. Outside of that, Jason, tell me, what's cooking? How was your week, bud?
It was actually really good. I'm surprised that Charlie Sheen actually got fired from his job.
Yeah.
That's surprising to me. But other than that, in the real world and the real reality of business, we're just attacking the credit card companies, Damon, going after those collection companies. And it was a very successful week. We got a few of them beat down pretty bad.
I love when we get a letter from a collection agency saying, I'm sorry, so sorry. You know, when you get a letter that says, I'm sorry from anyone, it's a wonderful thing. But to get it from a dirtbag collection agency, it's even better.
And I've said this before on the show, but it's such a useful tactic. Anyone who ever talks with collection companies, they always give you the disclosure at the beginning. Hi, this is an attempt to collect a debt. The calls may be recorded for customer assurance purposes. Please, anything you say will be used against you. Something to that effect. because they've given you notice that they're recording the calls, you don't need their permission to record the phone calls, because every one of these conversations with them, they do something wrong. Whether they promise something they're not supposed to promise, whether they threaten in a way they're not supposed to threaten, whether they do some form of illegalities under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, having that recording is beautiful, because I send out probably 6 or 7 recordings for collection companies every single week, and I can't tell you the last legal letter with a violation on recording that didn't come back as being deleted.
Did I ever tell you you're my hero?
It's fantastic. And here's another tip as well, just since we're on that point. Even if a collection company offers and apologizes and says, I'm so sorry, I'm going to write this off, we're going to delete it from the credit report immediately, tell them to take a step back. Because what you want to do, if say you owe $500, is you don't want the $500 debt deleted, because all the company's going to do is they're going to make it a profit center later on, and they're going to sell that $500 deletion to someone else, and the next thing you know, you're dealing with a $500 debt on your credit report from a different company. While you have them on the ropes, you tell them, no, we're going to make a settlement offer, and I'm going to pay you $50 for a payment in full, and you're going to delete it from my credit report. That way there's no fear that it may return later on and screw you out of getting a house or a car.
That is real advice from an expert, a nationally recognized credit expert. Don't be embarrassed, Jason. You are an expert attorney. If you are just joining us and hearing this wonderful knowledge come into your life about credit and credit restoration and the problems that you're having, pick up the phone and give us a ring. We're happy to speak with you. Our number is 973-771-5118. Again, 973-771-5118. We're going to take a few minutes and talk about some fun stuff now that we've just fried everyone's brain with some methodology about credit repair. So we've been reading an interesting article, 7 cringeworthy credit moments. I love this. For people with bad credit, if you're out there and you're listening to me, awkward moments are inevitable. You have them. But when they happen, there are probably better ways that you can be dealing with it. So here are a few common embarrassing scenarios that involve credit and maybe some responses that you should consider. Here's the first one. I'm sorry, sir, but your car's been denied. What do you say?
That's the worst. What do you say?
Sorry.
Do you take another credit card? I actually had that happen one time to me a couple of years ago, and I don't remember what the excuse was, but the waiter was very smooth. He came up to me and he said, "Excuse me, sir, can I have a word with you in the back?" And he gave a valid excuse that no one thought it was odd for leaving the table. And as soon as I got around back with the waiter, he was like, "Sir, your card was declined."
That's very nice of him. Here's a little tip that you should consider. If you know that you're at the max of your credit card, the new Card Act that we talk about all the time doesn't allow you to go over that max, so your card is going to be denied. What you should do in this instance is excuse yourself and say you need to go to the restroom, take your cell phone, call your credit card provider, authorize the transaction, suck up the over-the-limit fee, sit down back at the table like nothing ever happened, and voila.
Mm-hmm. If you don't mind it, you could even set it up beforehand. What Damon's referring to with the Card Act was the new credit card regulations that went into effect. So basically what happens is a credit card company won't necessarily decline you, but it's at their discretion. So they can let you go over the limit for no fee, or they can not allow you to go over the limit. But either way, it's at their discretion. So if you're closer to the limit, maybe Damon's method of going to the bathroom might work, but I would maybe take care of it before you leave the house for the restaurant.
Oh, who plans ahead?
Yeah, who would be that foolish to go on a first date with a credit card maxed out? But regardless, what
if
you
you're
want,
a college student, I'm sure that happens all the time. College students are by definition maxed out.
Wait, let's take a sidebar. You actually took girls to dinner in college? I don't think I ever went on a date at a restaurant when I was in college.
No, I didn't know what a date was. A date was taking somebody to the kegger in the woods somewhere. Hope she didn't puke on my shoes.
Excuse me, dear. Would you like to go to the restaurant this evening and see a movie?
Yeah,
is that where you found your wife? Isn't that where you met your wife, Damon?
Oh boy, we're on
watching Titanic.
That's a whole nother story. I met my wife in college because she looked at me like the up and coming, rising, intelligent person that I was, and saw through all of the dyed blonde hair and pierced nose. ring and all that other business.
Mike, if you could do me a favor, can you Google and see what the big movie was in '94 when Damon met his
Titanic.
wife?
What do you mean? If it was probably
I was
Titanic.
guessing. Was it Titanic?
I don't know.
Regardless, you don't want the credit card company to be able to deny you. So you don't want to give them that option. So if you're coming close to your balances and you want that ability, just call up. They're going to charge you an overdraft fee. That's the only way they can charge an over limit fee. That's the only way they're allowed to charge you the over limit fee. But nonetheless, it will protect you from having that uncomfortable circumstance.
All right, here's another one. Cringe, The Lion King.
The Lion King, Damon.
The 7 Dead Forrest Gump. The 7 cringeworthy moments, guys. If you have had these, if your card's been declined, here's one that a lot of people know. Don't freak out if you do know it. Jane, we need to discuss this wage garnishment issue. And that's a boss saying that? How about that? How about if your boss says that to you?
It's more so the HR department, but I get it all the time. I get it all the time. And here, the best way to deal with that situation is don't ignore the fact that you've been sued. Don't ignore the fact that someone's serving you and you say, oh, I didn't accept it personally. I don't have to go to court. There are different ways to get jurisdiction and get someone into court. And you don't have to personally hand the court order to you in order to be served. So what happens is if you know you're being sued, deal with the situation, because only thing that's going to happen is, and you may not get garnished, but you're going to have a judgment against you where they can garnish, or even worse, they can execute on your bank account and take all the money that you've saved up. If you're going to have this problem that's now getting to a head, deal with it when they give you service, because it's the best time to get a low offer on settlement.
Well, if you're like everyone else in the world who doesn't deal with these problems when they come up in front of you, and now you have a garnishment, and now your boss is saying, Jane, we need to discuss this wage garnishment. What do you say? Here's what you say. You say, I'm terribly sorry that this personal matter has extended to the workplace. I will get it resolved as quickly as possible. The idea is you want to be frank and you want to offset whatever negative opinion may come from the garnishment with clear talking, because problems happen. But if you address it head on with your employer, then they can probably put it behind them or begin to look past it. If you're just joining us, you're listening to the Credit Pros. We're taking phone calls today. I want you to pick up the phone and give us a call. I would love to speak with you. It's a wonderful opportunity to speak with expert, handsome attorney Jason Kaplan. Plus, we have Rocco here in the studio from Prepaid Legal. Give us a ring. Our number is 973-771-5118. Again, 973-771-5118, or we're on the web at creditrepair.to.
Let me give you one of these embarrassing situations, Damon. You graduate from college, you just finished your date at Forrest Gump with your wife, and you're going to get your first apartment. I'm sorry, Damon. We don't rent to people with bad credit. We can't give you an apartment.
But look how handsome I am, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Look how handsome I am.
Then you're back living with your mom in the basement. That's the problem.
That's where I started. It's that life goes full circle sometimes.
Things are greatly expanding in today's environment. When I was an attorney, I didn't have to get a credit check to pass the Bar Association. Nowadays, people do. Same thing with jobs and especially renting property nowadays. Landlords are very strict about who they rent to, because it's so hard to get someone out of an apartment and evict them if they're not paying their rent. So it's extremely important to concentrate on your credit. If you have bad credit, you're going to rent an apartment, you can get things like you can get different references from maybe the attorney who's doing your credit repair, but there are ways to get around the bad credit, but it's not an issue that you want to kind of leave to the last minute.
Here's my opinion on it. You're sitting knee to knee with the gentleman that's about to rent to you his home or apartment or whatever the case may be. He says, no, I can't rent to you. Your credit stinks. Don't freak out. You're going to feel like you just got gutted. Don't freak out. Again, keep your cool and have a real conversation with him. I know that I had some errors in the past, but they were errors, and I've moved past it. Maybe you can offer to get a cosigner. Maybe you can offer to double the security deposit. Maybe you can offer to pay 6 months in advance. At the end of the day, though, if someone doesn't want to rent to you because of the problem with your credit, they may not rent to you because of the problem with your credit. One good thing about apartments, though, is that there are probably a lot of them. And if this one doesn't suit your needs, then see if you can get another.
Absolutely. And you just got to make sure you take the situation on at the head. How about this one, Damon? Moving on. You moved into your apartment with your girlfriend from college. You guys love Forrest Gump together. And next thing you know, she's like, oh, I'm ready to get married. I'm ready to have a kid. You got to buy a car. I need you to buy me a ring.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm sorry, dear. I don't have good enough credit for any of those things.
Right. Well, here's the situation as far as that goes. You must reveal the ugly truth. If you're planning on getting married, and this is only my opinion from a married man's perspective, and I know that there are a lot of men out there that build their entire relationship on lies, and to some ways I respect that. But I'm not fortunate enough to have that. But you can't start a relationship like the young guy that's listening to this. You're going to write this down. You can't start that marriage relationship where you're dating a girl, you could lie until you're blue in the face. But you can't start your marriage relationship on a lie like that because it does come out in the wash. If you have a problem with your credit or you've neglected some important areas of your life, don't think they won't come to light. And when your wife, a year down the road, 2 years down the road, finally does realize it, then divorce is a lot uglier than a breakup a lot of times. So you need to make sure that you're coming to the table at the point of your union and disclosing all of the nastiness that you have behind you.
Yeah, what's more impressive... Oh, I can't tell what's more impressive to a woman, but what I believe to be more impressive to a woman is the fact that you've actually realized the situation and you're taking affirmative steps to correct it.
Or she may just drop you because you got bad credit.
Yeah, that could be happening too. But at least you're saying, listen, dear, I have bad credit right now. There's not that much expendable income because what I'm trying to do is I have these 2 debts from college. I'm trying to pay off these 2 debts from the bad business deal. So X amount of dollars is going towards this, but in the course over the next 12 months, it'll all be paid off. I'm working with Mr. Kaplan to fix my credit, and we should be ready to go with that house in the next 2 years.
And just like in Bronx Tale, if she doesn't reach out to you and open the door for you and help you, then she's a you-know-what and she can't be trusted.
Yeah, but plus, you know what else happens when you make a plan 2 years out? They think you're in it for the 2 years, and they love that. They start nesting.
That's true. Women love nesting. You're listening to the Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio Network. It's a beautiful Sunday here, and we're taking phone calls. And if you want to give us a call about your credit, about finances, about mortgage, about legal, about real estate, or anything else, pick up the phone and give us a ring. Our number is 973-771-5118. Again, 973-771-5118, or on the web at creditrepair.to. When we come back, we're going to go through the 7 cringeworthy topics, a couple more of those. We have a special guest in studio, Rocco from Prepaid Legal. Also, the top 25 credit burden cities, and you will not believe there's some surprises on there. Stick around after the break. This is the Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio.
For all your credit problems, concerns, or questions, call the show's off-air number at 973-771-5118 and speak to the hosts of the show, Damon DiCrescenzo and attorney Jason Kaplan, directly. 973-771-5118. This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Hello, Jason Kaplan here, host of the Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio New Jersey. I'm thrilled that I get to speak to you every week and bring you the truths about your credit. A lot of stuff you hear in the news is just flat out wrong. If you want the inside knowledge about what's going on with your credit, that's what I'm here for. Give me a call at 973-771-5118. That's 973-771-5118. Whether you're looking to buy a home, get a job, apply for car insurance, your credit's the most important factor in these decisions. I can help you make an educated decision about what's going on and what's best for you and your family. It's easy. I give you the real facts and you decide what to do from there. Just give me a call. I'm here to help. 973-771-5118. That's 973-771-5118. Or visit us online at creditrepair.to. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back from the break soon.
Jason, tell me what the Credit Pros on Real Estate Radio New Jersey is all about.
We're helping to dispel all the myths and misconceptions about credit. Myself and my partner, Damon DiCrescenzo, are certified credit counselors and credit experts. I'm an attorney, and what we do is we help you understand what goes into making a credit score, how the negative items impact your credit score, how the lack of positive items can also impact your score. There are so many parts to the Fair Isaac credit scoring model that people don't understand. I'm here to unlock those keys.
So what are some of the things you're helping the people of New Jersey accomplish with their credit?
Well, when it comes to doing anything in your life, buying a car, getting insurance, getting a job, passing security clearance if you're in the military, everything comes down to your credit score. So what happens is if people are not watching their credit score, if they don't know how to solve the problems that they're facing with their credit, they're going to have issues. So we need to help them deal with all of these issues.
So who out there listening right now should call you today?
Anyone that looks for a job, that's living and breathing out there in New Jersey. What happens is credit scores affect everything like I just mentioned. So if you're concerned, confused, if you have a particular question about a particular circumstance, just give me and Damon a call. Our number is 973-771-5118.
It's just that simple. If you want the free credit advice in New Jersey, call attorney Jason Kaplan and the Credit Pros right now at 973-771-5118. That's 973-771-5118. For all your credit problems, concerns, or questions, call the show's off-air number at 973-771-5118 and speak to the hosts of the show, Damon DiCrescenzo and attorney Jason Kaplan, directly. 973-771-5118.